Howdy, howdy. We are live on a Friday night. Miss Taylor and I have made it back from the Delta Quadrant from the state of New York. We have a lot to talk about, though. We went to the Trek Long Island convention. We saw the TOS set tours in Ticonderoga, and we crossed paths with an old friend. So should be a lot to delve into, and we have Starfleet Sohail here, the one and only Sohail. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to continue this tradition of debriefing y'all when you get back from these missions. I love doing it. So
Yeah, you're like
thanks for
our
having me.
admiral boss we report to, I guess. But we can go ahead and get the show started, though. We do have a lot to talk about. I'm Fatheree,
I'm Sohail.
And I'm Miss Taylor.
and this is Tex-Trek.
Engage.
Welcome back aboard the Starship Texas for the 333rd installment of the Tex-Trek podcast, the home of Star Trek fandom from deep in the heart of Texas, where we take a deep look at Star Trek, old and new. And tonight, Miss Taylor and I are reporting back from our away mission to New York State. We recently attended the Trek Long Island convention. And while we were in New York, we also drove over to small town Ticonderoga to see the beautiful, famous TOS set tours, the recreations
cool.
of the old Desilu sets. And we have Starfleet Sohail here to debrief us.
Yes, I'm very excited. So I guess should I just get started with all my questions?
Just in one quick second, I do want to do.
Oh, you gotta do housekeeping.
The usual housekeeping.
Yeah, that's true.
Which starts with you, Sohail, because we like to thank our patrons and give a shout out to our patrons, and you as the OG Tex-Trek Patreon supporter. But thank you so much to you, Starfleet Sohail, and also everyone else.
It's an honor.
Cake is Eternal, Crazy Dutchy, Joanne Robertson, John Daw, Geek Filter, Quark Spar, Stephanie Durantes, Matthew Averett, Braxton, Chuck A, Joel Vallis, Benjinium, Arthur Lamoureux, our associate producer, Chris Garris, Dave Farabee, Dave A. Gregory, and our anonymous supporters. And just to remind everyone, we do have monthly watch parties with our patrons. The next one is scheduled for a couple of weeks, June 21st. We're going to be watching something with our patrons. I'm not sure if we've figured that out yet. Maybe Joel in the live audience will let us know. But you can attend those monthly watch parties for as little as $2 a month. If you can afford to help at a more generous level too, there's a lot of other perks. So please check that out if you can support us. It goes a long way. Otherwise, if you can't help financially on Patreon, please remember to like and subscribe to the show. We love likes and subscribes on YouTube. We love to be rated on the podcast platforms, whatever you use. Is it Apple Podcasts, Spotify? I know, Sohail, you've been telling me that for years. You said you were going to create a Spotify account.
Just to rate you.
It was an old Tex-Trek podcast I listened to the other day, and you actually said on there like, "Oh, I'm going to create a Spotify just to rate."
Do you remember
Tex-Trek.
Mr. Magoo? I'm Mr. Magoo.
Are you blind or just
or no? You know who
also?
I'm actually Forgetful Jones from Sesame Street. That's a better.
That's okay.
That's a better one.
I just assume it takes you a while and you'll get to it.
It
eventually.
Does.
But
I'm a busy man, as a reference to Star Trek 5.
Yeah, people can rate us and give us the subs on whatever platforms you use. We do appreciate it. But also, if you can help out on the Patreon, that really helps us too. So keeps the starship a flying. Is there any Sohail? Is there any like Star Trek news this week to talk about?
Well, Strange New Worlds announced their episode titles.
That's right, for season 3.
Yep. So that was the big thing, and I liked Anson Mount's tweet about folks, go ahead and let the rumors begin, or like all the the speculation. But I haven't seen much speculation because the platforms that I used to go to revel in Star Trek joy have been taken over by very crazy people. so I haven't seen much of it, but hopefully there will be some chatter in the Tex-Trek chat, because this is a great place for the community to gather. And I just wanted to say one more thing, which was not just to like and watch, but share too. Like, when we tweet, if you guys could retweet and share it, and so more people discover us, and maybe we can confound the algorithm a little bit.
Yeah, a little signal boost goes a long
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, we need it these days.
Those episode titles though, I don't we can run through them real quick. Taylor, I don't think you've had a chance to look at these yet, because
I did see them, but I didn't like. I just read them a couple of times, and I didn't want to speculate too much, so I didn't think about it.
Okay, I'm gonna go through them. I'll go through them real quick. If you have any like really cool theory crafting ideas you want to shout out, let me know when I get through.
We'll just give like the most briefest thoughts on it, because maybe you'll do another special where we go deep dive.
The episodes we have Hegemony Part 2.
Obvious.
Gorn, the Gorn premiere. Then we have
the Gorn premiere and resolution.
Wedding Bell Blues.
That sounds like someone's getting married.
Yeah,
Who's supposed to get married?
Wedding Bell Blues. Well, we know that Spock was engaged to T'Pring, but we know that actually like, that wedding will get back on track in about 6 years. And he'll get left at the altar. Spoiler alert for a mock time. But we know that Chapel will get engaged to Roger Corby.
That's right.
So, but it could be a wedding between just like a guest star character. Who knows? Maybe we know what Patton.
Wait, is Chapel engaged already? Says Joel. But sorry, go on.
Not as of season 2. Because she hasn't met Roger Corby. She's like got a job working for him, and we know from TOS she'll end up getting engaged.
She's gonna go, yeah. We know that, and then we know how that all turns out, anyways.
Episode 3 is Shuttle to Kinfori. I guess someone's going to Kinfori on a shuttle.
Where's Kinfori? Have we heard of it before?
No, I think that's a new planet.
Oh, okay.
Episode 4, I think this is the Jonathan Frakes one that he says is like an old school Hollywood murder mystery, but
I'm excited about that one on the recreation room, or whatever it is.
But that episode's called A Space Adventure Hour. So it kind of might have been like a period piece trying to like create like a science fiction show in the 50s or 60s or something.
And that must be the same episode that has like Paul Wesley returning, because there's this like scene of him right on the bridge or something that we saw like on that fake show, like the fake Star Trek show looking thing.
Right.
Wasn't that a preview or something? Yeah.
That was in the recent trailer.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if that's on a holodeck. It seems like it's or like some anomaly or something that turns them all into a TV show, which they already are. It's very meta.
Episode 5 is Through the Lens of Time, so that's gonna be time travel, right? Well, maybe not. Like I swore like Temporal Edicts, season 1 of Lower Decks is gonna be time travel, and it wasn't. So who knows?
Right.
Maybe this one's interesting. We'll have like the Arch.
Oh, the Guardian of Forever.
Yeah, Lens. I think of like that a little bit.
Carl. Now we know the Guardian's name, which is Carl.
Yeah, possible return of Carl. Episode 6 is the Sailot Who Ate Its Tail. So
that's so exciting, because are we going to see a live action Sailot?
You know what? I think that's actually going to be like Spock will be like, oh, this reminds me of the old Vulcan proverb about the Sailot who ate its own tail, or something like that. And it actually won't be about a literal Sailot, the big teddy bear that we learned about in the original series that we actually see in the animated series, and then again
series.
briefly in Star Trek Enterprise. But yeah, that's interesting. Then the last three we have, what is Starfleet? I don't know, something about Starfleet.
Sounds like it's going to be like a Starfleet centric. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, it's good. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Then we have 4.5 Vulcans. That's going to be the one where Pike and some other crew
The little
members turn
preview
into
we saw.
Vulcans.
Yeah.
So I'm not really excited for that one. I'm not really excited about Hegemony Part 2 because I don't like Strange New Worlds Gorn, but I wanted to try this other stuff. The last two we have Terranium is episode 9. That kind of sounds like the Cage or the Menagerie. It's like, oh, we're going back to Talos 4, but this time it's the Terranium.
The Terranium.
Is it Terranium or Terrarium? I'm not looking at the list.
I think you're thinking of
Terrarium. Okay,
okay.
Terrarium.
Yeah.
I just misread it. Okay.
I was gonna say, what's a Terranium?
Yeah.
But that's the word I was thinking of, right? It means like
terrarium,
like,
like a little plant
for like a
enclosure for like a mini microbiome plant,
like a reptile.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing.
Well, you can have like lizards and stuff that live in a terrarium, but they also have terrariums that are like solely plant based. Because there's something
like where you seal them in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, there are some that are like their own little ecosystem where you literally have like the cork on it and you never open it and it just like feeds and waters itself through its own condensation and decay. And then there's also like terrarium, like the lizard.
For lizards, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
maybe it's thinking. A planet. Oh, it could either be another Gorn related episode, sorry, Fatheree, or now that you're saying with lizards, or it could be a planet that's like a terrarium, which would be interesting.
Or are they gonna get like a new character who's like Keiko of Strange New Worlds or something, and they're gonna have, I don't know, a biology area?
If we ever get Sulu,
that would be the right.
Worlds,
yeah, it's true.
I want to see him in the botany lab with plants, like Gertrude. Remember, like
I never caught that till now, but Sulu and Keiko both love to do that kind of stuff. That's interesting.
Yeah, both Japanese characters in Star Trek are also both into gardening. But to be fair, Sulu was into a lot of hobbies. He was also like a weapons expert. He was a physicist for a split second. We know he's a helmsman, so... Oh, and he was into swords, so he's the sword guy.
He loved to sword fight. We know that from...
And then the last episode title in season 3 is New Life and New Civilizations. So...
That sounds exciting. I hope it's not the end of Star Trek Strange. Were they renewed yet for season 5?
Season 4 is in production now.
Oh, okay, good.
So we don't know if there will be a season 5, but there's 100% going to be a season 4. And Starfleet Academy season 2 is about to start production as well. So cool. This month, I think. So we're very soon.
We might get actually after the run or during the run of Strange New Worlds, we might get a Starfleet Academy trailer. Maybe when did they haven't announced anything about when they're releasing that or anything, right?
No, but it'll come out either at the very end of this year, or I think more likely January or February of next year.
Okay.
I think that I don't know if we'll get a full-on trailer or a clip or what, but we'll get something at San Diego Comic-Con next month.
Oh, right, of course.
It will at least get I think a look at some of the characters, oh yeah, so and so is playing a Tellarite. Here's what they look like. You know, their character's name is blah blah blah, whatever. I think we'll at least get that, maybe even like a full on trailer. But yeah, they have like a whole season of that show shot, in post production. So it wouldn't be too hard for them to edit together a trailer. But if there's not any other news, I guess I should say that next week, what we'll be talking about next week after we talk about our mission to New York and Trek Long Island and the TOS set tours and all of that tonight. But then next week, we're going to start our road to Strange New Worlds Season 3 by doing some backtracking retrospectives where we're specifically highlighting episodes that we think will be relevant to this season of Strange New Worlds. So it's going to be very TOS heavy, a lot of TOS focus. But I'll announce next week's episode at the end of the show. Taylor, please make sure I don't forget. I've remembered every time, though, after that one time I almost forgot, and you had to help me out. But I've been doing good since then. But I will say now that Rachel will be the guest on the show next week. We'll say what episode
Woo!
we'll be focusing on. But yeah, those backtracking retrospectives have been a lot of fun, and people seem to like to show up for those. And Taylor and I have a lot of fun putting those together. So we'll be doing those in the remaining few weeks before Strange New World season 3 arrives on July 17th.
So close. There's so much going on in July. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like that Superman movie that's
Ah,
like a month and 5 days away.
I'm
Uh,
dying. All the teasers are all the clips. It's making me crazy. I want to see it now.
Sohail, before you go insane and die from having to wait 36 more days to see that movie, why don't we get into our debrief? So tell us what do you want to
Excellent.
know about our away mission to New York State?
Well, first of all, it was your first time in New York, right?
That is correct. I had never been more northeast in the United States than Washington D.C. So anything like
Wow.
beyond, like yeah, Pennsylvania, and New Jersey, New York, all of New England, all that it's all new. Yeah, it's like too new for me, I guess.
And
Uh,
Miss Taylor, was that for your first time there too, or?
No, I've been there a few times,
Oh,
mainly
cool.
Manhattan, but I've been to upstate New York twice. So, but it was
Excellent.
like I enjoy doing this with Steven because it's like the super touristy stuff of Manhattan is like we just like barely scraped the surface. It was
Yeah, it's true.
fun for him to see like the very big city and then also like the very big forest of New York, you know. So he got to see a lot for a first visit.
I've been to New York more times than I can remember now since I was a wee lad, so I'm very familiar with the city and I usually stay in Manhattan. But recently I've ventured out and I've started staying in Brooklyn because I have more friends in Brooklyn now than in Manhattan. So Brooklyn's pretty nice too. It's an insane experience, nevertheless. But Fatheree, what was your initial impression of the Big Apple?
so this is kind of funny, but like I always felt if I went to Manhattan, I would know my way around the city pretty well. At least like where like the general layout of things were, because I've played so many Spider-Man video games that are like open world formats set in New York where you just swing around like Spider-Man. But it was like I knew where everything was. I was like, oh yeah,
For
like
real?
Harlem is that way, the financial district is that way. Yeah, like I heard like some sirens go by, which you hear a lot of. You're in the city, you're in New York, but my instinct was to like start like web swinging and like
Yeah.
oh there's like a mission's activating. I gotta go like
That's
follow this
hilarious.
fire truck and rescue someone or something.
Yeah.
So
There was this one street we were driving on, and he was like, "Wait, I recognize this. I've swung in these trees before."
No
I
way,
was
that's so
like,
crazy.
"Okay,
Is
nerd."
that how accurate those maps are?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
really
I didn't
close.
realize.
they're
Wow.
they're pretty accurate. I think they make the buildings a little taller in the game, but other than that, it's definitely the same layout. Also, as just me being like a big nerd, my first time in Manhattan, I also went to the Ghostbusters library in
I saw
Firehouse. I was
that.
like,
That's
oh,
so
I gotta
cool.
check those out. So if people follow our socials online, you can actually see pictures of us there.
Look at you
But
guys. Oh, the lions. That's cool. That's the library, the Natural History Museum, right?
it's
Yeah, the New York Public Library.
Oh, the New York
yeah.
Public Library. Sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Um,
Libraries are for everyone. That's cool.
Yeah.
but yeah, so that was a lot of fun. Just
Look at that.
Oh, you're muted.
sorry, but I was saying, yeah, I guess that's like a big bucket list thing. It's like one of those cities that everyone travels to eventually, I guess, if you do much traveling. But yeah, it was my first time in Manhattan. It wasn't the highlight of this trip for me though. That might sound weird to some people, like. Oh yeah, there's so much to do in the city. I love it. But it was like that was just kind of a detour while we were up there for the convention and up
Right.
there
You were on
for
mission. You had a different,
but the
yeah.
set tours. But yeah, the con was the main reason why we went. The people who run Trek Long Island were gracious enough to invite us. So we actually got invited last year, and just it was too last minute. I couldn't make it happen. So, I'm so glad that we got invited again this year because it was a really fun experience. Met like a lot of really cool, friendly Trekkies, and a lot of the people there in like the Long Island area. They were local. wasn't something like people like. There were a few people, from the city or other states who traveled in, but so many of the people were like local there to Long Island, who like I never would have met unless there was like a Star Trek convention there. So that
That's
was a lot
so
of fun.
cool. Did you stay in Long Island or did you stay in the city and then move to Long Island for the convention?
So
Yeah,
Taylor, if you want to talk about,
we stayed at the convention hotel, which was like the Hyatt for the
Oh,
convention
okay.
days. And then we didn't stay any nights in Manhattan. We just drove through. So we just did like a little afternoon there. And then we did 2 nights in Ticonderoga. So
Wait, did you guys drive up from Texas? You drove?
no,
No.
we rented a car.
Oh, okay, got it. Did you have to pay that like whatever high traffic fee to get into the city?
Yeah, we did. We had a toll tag. So but yeah, they like almost all the roads up there are like tolls now. So it was like even just like crossing any bridge, it was basically like this is gonna be $100. Not really, but it felt like that.
I've never driven in New York. I've always just taken the subway, or in a pinch I'll get an Uber or a but then again, Long Island's pretty far. How far is Long Island as far as
It's
a drive
about an
goes?
hour and a half from Manhattan.
That's what I figured.
Long Island is huge. Like the actual island is gigantic, so it's pretty big to drive from one end of it to the other. Like just we flew into JFK, which is like on one corner of the island, and then had to drive like an hour and a half through like traffic that wasn't even like that bad, but just it took a while to get there.
It was a pretty
There's a cool picture. Too. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, what's that?
I was gonna say it was just a pretty drive too. Lots of really tall trees up there. So.
Oh, nice. This is cool. You guys have your booth here. So like, tell me about the convention. Like, it was 3 days, right?
It was. So we were there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We just barely flew in and got there like as the con was shutting down, I guess, Friday night. But they didn't have much going on then. We were able to but we made it for like the Friday night karaoke. That was a lot of fun. Saturday we had like our table set up. We had some fun stickers. We were giving away free tribbles, which we ran out of. Believe it or not, we ran out of tribbles like instantly Saturday. We also had some stickers that we made. Kind of an experiment. We'll have to do more of this though. We'll have to go to more cons.
That's fabulous.
We had some Shaq stickers with the quote, fighting fascism is a full-time job. Some ROM quoting Marx. We had some ROM stickers saying workers of the world unite. We had some Kira stickers saying nothing justifies genocide. We had some Tex-Trek logo stickers. I gave away a lot of those. Those are really popular. We were also taking write-in suggestions. We had like a little bowl set up where people could write in episodes that they want us to cover on backtracking retrospectives. So we got some really good suggestions. Some person wrote in a Blink of an Eye, which we already covered, the Voyager episode. We did that one with Aaron.
Very cool.
But we got some other ones. We were also taking unpopular Star Trek opinions.
That's right, for your panel.
Saturday we also ran a panel on unpopular Star Trek opinions.
How'd it go?
I was surprised at what the most unpopular Star Trek opinion in the house was. Taylor, I don't know if you have like the list near you.
I don't, but I'm actually going to grab it because I thought it would be fun to review. There's like, we had quite a few people at the panel. And so give me 1 second and I'm very sorry. I'll be right back.
While you're grabbing that though, I can just talk about some of the unpopular opinions that we had our friend Thad from the Infinite Diversity podcast.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's right. He had a table there too. I saw. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was saying one of his unpopular Star Trek opinions was, he prefers Pulaski over Crusher. And what was
Indeed.
I'm trying to think of like one of mine. Star Trek 3. Y'all know this. People who are regulars of this audience know, but my favorite Star Trek movie. Pretty unpopular choice, but Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock. Not many people rank that as like their number one favorite. Taylor thinks like Riker is a shit character. This is one of her unpopular opinions.
I didn't share that there. I actually was too scared.
But what was one that you did share?
I shared that I thought the Borg was a terrible villain in TNG. That they were boring.
You didn't like any of the Borg episodes except for I, Borg with Hugh. You
Right.
disliked all their other TNG adventures until
I
we got to
didn't-
First Contact.
Yeah, I didn't like them as like the villain, like the big bad.
That's cool that we did that episode because we did your favorite Borg episode together. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Fatheree, did you sell any of your ships?
We sold the big NX refit.
All right, on.
Our highest dollar one actually. Yeah, the Doug Drexler designed NX refit, and we also like offered a model ship as a prize, but the winner the winner of our panel, we made it kind of a competition to find the most unpopular Star Trek opinion. But she neglected to take the model ship. I guess like New York housing. She was like, I don't have space for that, so understandable.
That's funny.
But Taylor, what were some of the before you say like the one that won? I think it might be like number 4 on the. Do you remember which one won?
Yes, I remember which one won, but I have
Okay.
the write-ins, and then I also have the list from the panel.
Yeah, so if you want to read some of those that you think are juicy.
Okay. One of them is from Jess G. She wrote in, I love Peanut Hamper. She was so realistic and funnily bitchy. It was her first day, and they already wanted her to take one for the team with lots of question marks.
So, stand for Peanut Hamper.
Neelix wasn't that bad and actually grew on me from a write-in from Kieran. Move Along Home from DS9 is actually a good episode written in by Kira.
I agree with that one.
Yeah,
I agree with that one too.
And our last write-in from our booth was from Morgan. Into Darkness is awesome with a smiley face.
I like Into Darkness until the end. I think it's fantastic until the very ending.
Then what were some of the ones that were brought up during the panel?
All right. I made really, really shorthand notes, so I'm gonna read what I wrote. But if you remember better than me, like correct me because
Okay.
Okay. The first one we got was that Roddenberry is one of the worst writers in Star Trek.
Wow.
One was a complaint that there's too much travel in Star Trek. This is the one I always forget, Stephen. It says, Enterprise, These Voy is worst episode.
Oh, that wasn't a very unpopular opinion, but yeah, that guy who suggested, the Enterprise finale, These Are the Voyages, is the worst episode of Star Trek ever. As soon as he said that, like 10 people were like, I agree with you.
Yeah. This one also, I think, number 4 was McCoy is a racist. And the guy that like raised his hand, he's like giving examples, and like everyone raised their hand in agreement. After
we actually,
like, it was like he brought his
that.
homework. He like brought his like facts. He was like, I have the facts, and like he had like
funny.
a whole list. He was prepared.
I feel like
right.
we debated that one time on the After Dark show, and I feel like we came to the same conclusion, but we forgave him for some reason. I can't remember why it was, but that's an interesting thing.
It gave us a really good opportunity to like talk about that though, and we talked about the thing that Jesse Gender always says about recognizing when your show like you can see like the growth in real life and like what you would be. Things wouldn't happen today.
Right. Yeah, it's a good sign when we can look back at older media and we're like, okay, that shit wouldn't fly today. Because that means that, well, that stuff that's set in stone hasn't changed or evolved. The rest of us in real life have.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
At least some of us, the ones that recognize that have.
We did a panel on one time where we discussed, what's the one from TNG, Code of Honor. And even though we all thought it was terrible, we decided it should stay in the it should not be like removed from the the show, because it's a good conversation to have about like what even a great show like Star Trek can get it wrong and like do things that are wildly out of touch with its own ethos.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, the next one is they were tired of the number 1701. They wanted that number retired. The next one, Sub Rosa, is a really good episode.
I actually agree with that one. That's
Okay.
one of my unpopular opinions.
This unpopular opinion, he said the DS9 Dominion line is way more interesting than the Prophets, and they wish that they had switched to the Dominion War earlier in the plot line.
Interesting.
Another one, Arson of Freedom, was a great TNG episode. Another one, Miles O'Brien is racist against aliens and is always disgusted against aliens.
That was the one that kind of caught me off guard, because I've heard people talk about McCoy being racist before, and it's like, okay, yeah, I can see it. But like the O'Brien is racist against aliens, it's like, I mean, I know he didn't like the Cardassians, but the guy, like, I pushed back on it a little bit, and he was like no, he totally, go back and watch.
Yeah,
like this guy was like adamant.
But this guy didn't come with receipts, right? Like he didn't have
gave
receipts.
2 examples.
Oh, 2 examples. Okay.
I asked him about, well, what about Tosk? Tosk was the alien
right.
Ryan
That's right.
befriended, way back in season 1, and he said, that was like his one black friend. That doesn't count. So
Yeah.
that was a good comeback, though. That was a good response. So
wow.
There's 2 more here. City on the Edge of Forever is far from the best TOS episode. And the last one we had from the panel is Disco is fun, but it's not Star Trek. So,
which I pushed back on that too. I was like, it literally has Star Trek in the title.
in the title, it literally connects to, like, there's a lot of references to other Star Treks, and they even had that cool Cage. Was it the Cage one? The one with Talos, where they referenced the Cage, like
that was
in
Discovery.
the flashback. Yeah, that was Discovery. So
wait, check it out. That was Discovery season 2, episode 8, I think. I'm pretty close.
Someone check Fatheree.
And the name of it had something to do with memory. It was something about like
if memory serves.
If memory serves, there you go. I think we're right. I think that was season 2, episode 8. Oh, Jill says it was 8, so boom.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
There's one I skipped on accident too. Sorry. There was one that said that the Trek books are better and have better characters than the movies and the shows. Sorry. Last one for real this time.
So Sohail, out of all of those, can you guess which one was the most unpopular opinion in the entire room? We couldn't find anyone else to agree with it.
Oh, wow. Let's see. I feel like it would be, which one did I scoff at? I can't remember now. I don't know. I can't think of it right now. So you guys, Taylor? Yeah, just tell me.
Yeah, the one that no one agreed with in the room is that 1701 should be retired.
Oh, that's the one I scoffed at. Yeah. Okay, see that? I even forgot it because I was like, oh, that's not a real.
You're like, that's not cool.
She was like, I'm tired of the 1701. They have A and B and C and D, and like enough is enough. It needs to stop at G.
Hey, it goes all the way to. We already know it goes all the way to J at least.
Yeah. Well, that could be an alternate timeline. That could.
No, and isn't there a more further one in Discovery? What was the Enterprise?
There is no Enterprise in Discovery.
Oh, okay. Just a new Constitution class. That's what it was. Yeah. That's my mistake. Yeah.
I think they should have like the Enterprise X, like the 1701X, like have that show up in Starfleet Academy. I think that'd be cool.
That is a great idea.
A cool number, It
is, and by then, for sure, you'll be. Yeah.
Elon would like it, so. He'd like, what a great name.
Enterprise X.
But yeah, the panel got a great crowd, a lot of good interaction. But I guess like my one complaint about the convention is not the fault of anyone involved with actually running the con, but with the hotel that they unfortunately are using was not a great facility. We had a couple of like fire alarms go off on Saturday. One of them was during like the middle of our panel, so they had to like evacuate.
Oh no!
Like, we had to like shut down our panel and like evacuate the building and then go back in. Yeah. So
your panel was so hot it caused a fire.
The fire
smoke
alarms, I guess.
Yeah, we caused a red alert.
You caused a red alert. That's crazy.
And we weren't affected by it, but I guess at one point Friday night, like the electricity went down for a significant part of the building, and so yeah, it sounded like it was not a great hotel.
Yeah,
But
well, and not to like air their dirty laundry, but it was a kitchen fire. So after that, they had no hot food for the rest of the con. Like there was like you couldn't order food from the kitchen. You could only order it from like, you know, the grab and go snack convenient area. So like there was no food anymore. So it was just like drinks and snacks. So anyone who was like planning to eat at the con could no longer do that. So
that's a bummer.
Yeah, it was really inconvenient.
I can imagine. How far, like what was around the hotel? Were there any other like could you go to restaurants and stuff at night?
We did. Cool. Yeah, we went to a pizza place and had burgers. We actually had pictures from I don't know if you want to pull them up, but the burger joint. It was really fun.
A space-themed burger restaurant called Cosmic.
Cosmos.
It was Cosmos Burgers.
Oh, okay. I think there's a picture of the front in there.
It says Eat at Cosmos.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that picture. Yeah. That's cool.
But it was super cute. Like I was really impressed with like the commitment to the theme. Like every single thing was space themed. It was great.
Hey, we got a super chat.
Joel, thank you so much for the $5.47 super chat. He says, "But how was the bar?" And
yeah, how was the hotel bar?
That's
actually a question I'm curious about too.
They had a Romulan Ale drink like every bar at every Star Trek convention.
Yeah,
but
it was good.
It was a good concoction. Yeah, it was blue.
Is the Romulan ale a standard recipe, or does it always just change?
No, it's always different. Taylor, do you remember what all was in these?
It was a pineapple based, and I think it was vodka and like blue curacao, and then pineapple and topped with I think sparkling water or Sprite. Oh, okay. It may have been Sprite.
The other funny thing about the facility where this wedding or where this convention was taking place is they were also doing a lot of weddings there that weekend.
Oh, okay.
So there's going to be like so many people, like telling their grandkids in the future, like for some reason at our wedding reception hotel, there were a lot of people walking around in Star Trek cosplay.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was about, but
I wonder if anyone could choose to have their Star Trek wedding there. That'd be cool. Like their actual theme Star Trek wedding. That's so cool. What else was cool about? Did they have like a vendor room and all the usual things? Were there celebrities there? All that.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff?
So we actually got a photo with Terry Farrell. So one of the things.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
Taylor's idea, but one of the things that we did on this trip was we brought an old Polaroid camera and took a lot of Polaroid pictures. So we now have like this Polaroid of Terry Farrell that we might get her to sign at a future convention.
You could have had her sign it right there, though. That's so good. That's the joy of Polaroids.
We could have, but now we have like a story to share with her, and we can be like, "Hey, Terry, remember that convention?
Remember this?
Remember that con in Long Island when they kept making us like evacuate because of the fire alarms kept going off? Like that's where we got like this Polaroid picture with you. Remember that? So
Taylor, not only is that like the coolest idea I've heard of for I haven't seen it. I've seen that concept like in other situations, but not for a Star Trek convention that I've seen. And so I think that's really cool. But look how cool that photo. It looks vintage. It looks like you guys are in the 80s or the 70s.
She was like, I haven't taken a Polaroid since I was doing like screencasting or something where they were like taking the Polaroid.
Yeah.
But she said, oh yeah, that used to be like a big thing in modeling was like taking Polaroids.
That's right.
So.
And she looks like genuinely delighted. Like normally there's like a smile that they all do, but look, her smile seems different than like the ones I've seen before. So it's very cool. Nice job. Do you have any other Polaroids to share?
Not with me on hand, but hanging up on the wall behind me, Taylor actually.
I see him over there.
She made like this fun little collage of Polaroids on the door that we'll have to add to. But we got a lot of like cool pictures from the set tours. So, I saw Rachel in the live audience was asking about the hotel bar, if you could get a Dr. Pepper there. So I know that's very important to her whenever she travels to a Star Trek convention, is having access to Dr. Pepper. So
I think Aaron, hi Aaron. Aaron's comments funny about Polaroids, but there's just such a nostalgia to them. But also, I used to shoot on professional Polaroid film, which is totally different and actually looks a lot different than the stuff that you see out out of there. So yeah, there's different grades of Polaroid.
Yeah. So mine's actually not a vintage one. Mine is an Instax wide. And so it's more modern film. We'll see in like 50 years if they completely fade.
We'll
but
find out.
It's still pretty fun. And yeah, we usually scan them in pretty early so that you have like a digital copy of, you know, whatever it looked like when you first take
two
it.
pictures. We'll just take a picture on the iPhone and then take a picture on the Polaroid. So,
Yeah.
That's cool.
But the what else is like some fun things from the convention?
The convention, yeah.
Taylor, we also did I mentioned the karaoke on Friday night, but they had like a cocktail party on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. They had we went to a comedy show, which was really fun.
Oh yeah.
That was related to the convention or just separate?
No, it was all Star Trek comedy, but like
cool.
some local comedians. But they knew Star Trek. They had like some good jokes. So
yeah,
right on.
It like progressively got better too. Like I was really excited. There was a couple that were just like I was almost in tears laughing. To be fair, like I was also getting more drunk the longer they were going. So
that helps sometimes. How big would you say this convention is compared to like other conventions that you've been to?
Well, it was I would say it's like medium sized. I don't know. That doesn't really say anything to someone who doesn't.
Well, like the big conventions, I think the biggest convention, obviously, I can think of is like STLV, right? Like, isn't that like the? So like that would be the biggest, and then I guess we both went to Mission Chicago, so I guess that would be a good way to compare.
I would say it was like on that level. It was like
okay, great. I love that. I'm glad because that's such a nice thing to have. Like, I mean, it's great to have like the big conventions too, but I like the intimacy of the smaller or medium-sized conventions as well. It's great. That's neat. Was it cold still or no?
It was a little chilly weather. Like it wasn't like super cold, but it was like 50s and 60s, which, you know, for late May, early June is not the norm. We were told.
Well, we have a lot of that.
I mean, it was.
By the way, we're dealing with Sahara dust right now, so that's why I sound so stuffy. There's a big dust cloud. I think it's headed your way, by the way, guys. So get ready.
I already was feeling like a tickle in my throat from allergies. And so, yay. Joel is asking in comparison to STSF, how big would you rate Trek Long Island?
It was bigger than that San Francisco convention we went to.
Oh, see, I was going to disagree. I was going to say, like, star-wise, it's smaller, but maybe about the same amount of people.
Yeah, but with, like, convention attendees, it's also hard to tell because some people are there for all 3 days and a lot of people just show up for one day. But there were a lot of people there on Saturday. I got a good look at all of us because we had to evacuate the building a couple times. So we're all standing around outside. But
that's wild.
I think it was definitely like smaller on like the casting side, but I think they had really quality people who were there.
Who else was there besides
John Billingsley was the other big the big draw. And Andy Robinson.
Yeah. Susan Sackett and the Morris siblings.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that was You're right though, Taylor. It did not have like the same level of celebrity guests of San Francisco, but it had like that level of turnout.
Audience. Yeah, it was I was really impressed with how many people came in because I mean, when we were at the booth and we're like talking to people, I felt like I was running out of words so fast. Like by like the fourth time we had like someone like come up back to back to back at the table, I was like talking in jumbles. I was like, man, I need a pre-recorded version of this because I was running out of words.
Anyone out there who you discovered Tex-Trek at Trek Long Island and now you are watching or listening to us online, please comment and say hi and say that the free tribbles and free stickers worked and we have a new audience member. That'd be because we met several people who had heard of us and of course several who had not. So a lot of potential new audience members.
Yeah. Everyone was so friendly that we talked to too. Like,
Joel is Joel is also reminding me that John Noble was there also. So
okay.
Our diviner from Prodigy.
And also Elena from Discovery. I don't remember her last name. The librarian.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
The
That's true.
Afrosian librarian in
Right.
in Disco
The
season
Morris
5.
twins are. I looked them up because I didn't remember who that was from Star Trek, but they're basketball players who are
No,
Trekkies.
Phil
Oh,
Morris, he's appeared in Star Trek a few times. He was one of the little kids in Miri in
oh, okay, got
the
it.
little boy with the army helmet on his head, and
I
his
remember.
sister.
I just watched Mirror recently, so yeah.
Okay, and his sister was also
In the
her name
show.
is Iona, and she was also one of the little kids in Miri, and she's done a lot of voice acting. She was the voice of Storm in the '90s X-Men cartoon.
And Phil Morris
Oh.
was in Atlantis. He was Dr. Sweet.
Yeah, he does a lot of voice acting, so he's been in a ton of things. I actually, when I met Phil Morris at Star Trek Las Vegas a couple years ago, and he's done so much cool like Marvel and DC characters. He's the live action Martian Manhunter in Smallville and stuff
Now
like
I
that.
know who you're talking about. Okay, cool.
But I asked him, I was like, "Oh, you've done so many cool like Marvel and DC characters. If you could do any Marvel or DC character, who do you want to be? Like anyone from like those superhero comics, who would you want to play?" And he said Nick Fury. He said, "I think Samuel L.
Oh, cool.
Jackson is, he's too old. He can't do like all I could do like all the cool stunts. I could be like the that could be like the, athletic, sexy Nick Fury." So I mean,
That's
I'm pretty
pretty
sure
funny.
Phil Morris is in his 60s himself at this
Yeah, I was gonna
point.
say.
So,
It's
but
like-
I mean,
that's great.
but yeah, he's definitely in good shape. So I think he can
Were
pull it off.
there production folks there too, like people who have been involved with the production of Star Trek, like
Uh,
behind the scenes folks or designers or
yeah, we were just
anyone?
mentioning Susan Sackett. So
Hmm.
she was Gene Roddenberry's assistant
Oh, that's right.
for a huge part of his career, I guess from like the late 70s on to the end of his life in 1991. So she was there when they were making the TOS movies and when TNG was being developed, and so that was cool to get to hear some of her insight and see the panel that she put on. One of the interesting questions I think she got was like, "Oh, that documentary Chaos on the Bridge about how chaotic the Next Generation was and when it got started, like, is that pretty accurate?" She's like, "Well, they might have, played up some of the details just to make it sound a bit more dramatic. But yeah, overall, like, it pretty much happened exactly like that." So I thought that was interesting.
I saw that not too long ago too. It's an interesting documentary. There's so many Trek stuff, Trek documentaries and things like that popping up on streaming.
Yeah,
It's
it's one
pretty
of the
neat.
things. So hell, I don't know if you've seen the Voyager documentary yet.
Not yet. I'm
To the
dying to see
Journey.
it too. I gotta figure out how to stream it. I keep
Did
meaning
you
to
back
look it
it?
up.
You might have check your email. They might have sent you a digital
I
copy.
did
But
not back it,
hmm.
unfortunately.
Well,
Bad boy.
one thing
bad
that
bad Starfleet Sohail.
one thing that I am reminded of, seeing that other people's reaction to the Star Trek Voyager documentary, other people seem to not like it quite as much as I do, and that's because like, oh, I really like Star Trek documentaries. Like that's like what like my favorite genre of movies, kinda. So
Yeah, it's legit. I do too.
but like I love like that Captain's Chair series. Like I love to like
Oh,
have
I
that on
started
in the
watching that and I
background.
saw our friend Aaron Harvey on it.
Yeah,
That was
he's in
so
it a
cool.
lot.
The
So
center
that's
seat. Sorry, the center seat is the one I'm thinking of, not the captain's chair.
oh yeah, the center seat. That's what I meant to say. Oh, I mean, it's like the
Yeah,
same fucking thing, right? Center seat, captain's chair, whatever. But
it's true. It is the
I
same.
was thinking captain's chair because I have like some pictures of us sitting in the captain's chair at the set tour, and they're labeled on this computer screen next to me. They're literally labeled captain's chair. So, um, but yeah, the center seat docu-series. But yeah. Speaking of that, after we did the convention and did our little day trip excursion into Manhattan, we did trek upstate to Ticonderoga.
So you drove from Manhattan to Ticonderoga.
Mm-hmm.
How long is that drive? I'm curious because I'm going to be doing this at some point too.
It was
Oh,
about
it's
4 hours from
yeah,
Manhattan.
but
Okay, cool. I'll probably be staying with my friend who lives in Hudson, New York. So I hope I have to check the maps, but maybe Joel can tell us uh, how far Ticonderoga is from there.
To us, it didn't seem that bad though.
Yeah, 4 hours
Yeah,
is
and
not bad. It's like driving to Disney.
and we
For
like
me.
took a break in Albany to have dinner, so I kind of split it up into 2 hours because Albany is like right in the middle.
Is that from 30 Rock?
This is from the Empire State Building.
Oh, the Empire State. Okay, very cool. Oh yeah, because you don't see the Empire State Building in that picture, so it makes sense. Very nice. Look at that. Did you feel like you were on Coruscant when you were up there
Yeah,
looking at New York?
it was kind of Coruscant-y. That did occur to
Yeah,
me, but it also
that's my nickname for New York.
downtown New York. It kind of looks like the same as like the downtown like every other city in the United States. It's just like
Right,
it's just like
It's just
kind
bigger
of
and
yeah,
taller.
yeah,
and denser. I feel like.
Yeah,
kind
and
of
I like that
dirtier.
you
kind
caught
of
a
smells
pigeon.
bad.
I like that in this selfie that you have a pigeon flying overhead there.
Yeah,
That's
we
an
were
awesome.
photobombed. It wasn't planned.
So the drive up to Ticonderoga and you arrive. What's it like? Tell us about the set tour.
So this thing had really been hyped up to us. We met so many people at Trek Long Island who had been to Ticonderoga, and everyone said like great things. Like people were talking about like, oh yeah, like it makes you cry when you see the bridge for the first time and stuff like that. So we had like pretty high expectations going into it, but I feel like I can say that it lives up to the hype. It was something that I had been looking forward to for so many years, but it was still a real emotional experience. Just there are times where you can feel like you are on that ship, like you are on the Enterprise. So many of us have spent so many hours, watching Star Trek the original series. These images are kind of ingrained into our brains,
I know.
So,
When I just look at your pictures, I feel like, wow, like it feels like you're in the show. Like it doesn't look any different from the HD, like the HD version of the show where you're looking at it on a nice TV or whatever, and you see like how good the filming is and everything like that. And your photos make me feel like, oh yeah, like they're just stepping on the set. Never disappeared. Like they just kept it preserved, and you can just walk onto the set and take the same shots and everything. Like the angles, like everything looks just so accurate. This is so cool. Like all the memorabilia. Who is it that who like kind of curated and did, what's his name?
James Calley.
He's James Kelly. He's awesome. He's like an Elvis impersonator, right? That's like how
right.
So he's so cool.
The guy has a few special interests. Elvis, Batman, and Star Trek. He's an Elvis impersonator. He owns a recreation of the 1966 Batmobile, and he also rebuilt the sets of Star Trek the original series. So yeah, he's definitely a hardcore fan of these things. But we did not meet James; he wasn't there. But his employees were talking about, like, they were like, oh, like James said to go ahead, like move this tour group on or something like that. So it's like, oh well, he seems pretty involved with the day-to-day operations, but we didn't actually see him present. But yeah, like you go in and they have like this cool like little lobby set up with some actual like screen used props and wardrobe and some things that they had created, I think. But they kind of show off. I guess it's James's collection there, but then they just the layout, I guess, is similar to what they did have at Desilu, of like the locations of like how to get from the bridge to engineering to sickbay or whatever. So we're kind of like walking down like not so much like a recreation of the Enterprise, but you can also think
more
of like
of the sets.
Right. You're not where like Kirk and Spock and Bones stood. You're where Shatner and Nimoy and DeForest Kelley stood. But
right, that makes sense though, because it is like a studio space, right? Like it's a huge warehouse type. Yeah, cool.
But it's kind of cool because like while you're walking through that, like for me, I could like, oh, my Hollywood production brain is thinking like, okay, and like the people working here, the actors and the cameramen and whatever, they'd be like in a room that looks identical to this. And then I'm also thinking about like the Starfleet, like a Starfleet officer in the 23rd century, like in this room trying to do their duties and stuff. So it was kind of like a dual experience. But I don't know, Taylor, if you have any thoughts about
Yeah, I
the.
was gonna say, what was it like for you, Miss Taylor?
Well, I didn't realize that it was all going to be super connected like it was. Like, I was expecting it to be kind of like, and we'll walk into this room and we'll see how it's all laid out. But it's very immersive. It's like once you like are on the set, it's all combined together. And so all of the different larger sets are combined by the TOS hallway. And like that actually got me choked up because I don't know, it felt like very, I don't know, realistic. And it just like felt so like normal. I don't know, but I wasn't expecting it all to be so connected, and it was really just like it was such a good way to like combine it all together to where you're going like room to room and seeing these really cool things, and like to also have the transition space to also be such a iconic place, like you have like the interesting doors, like the kind of trapezoid doors, and you have like the funny little pipe things that are all different colors on the walls,
Right.
and the comm, not the comm badges, like the comm corridor thing. I don't know what that's actually called. Sorry.
Oh, the
The wall
communication.
comms,
the wall comm.
The wall comms.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah,
you
and everything's like super.
Taylor,
And
everything's like touchable, like nothing's off limits. Like you
no,
can get. Oh.
no, they don't let you touch anything. They'll let you like kind of stand around and like act like you're
Yeah.
touching things.
They'll tell you
Uh,
where to stand.
Oh, okay, got
Yeah.
it.
But it was one thing that the like pictures from this don't do it justice is the sound. Like they have the TOS sound so perfectly. So you can hear like random red alerts, and you can hear like the sound of the doors opening and closing randomly. Like you can hear like the buttons and things. Like they have like a little switch that they push for the transporter room where you can like hear the sound of like the energizing. So there's all that, like it is so immersive because of that, like with the lighting and then the sounds, and then of course like the set itself. But I feel like that just takes it to such a great level because you're really put into that space with all of your senses. It's not just sight and what it looks and feels like. It's everything. So.
And it helps
That's
that
so cool.
we were in costume too. We were.
Yeah, I love that.
In
I
our
love your Kirk
TOS
as a jerk
cosplay.
shirt. That's so cool. Well, you're in TAS cosplay, but I noticed that there was the Medusan thing there, right? Is that what that was, like in the transporter?
On the transporter room, they had the it wasn't the full on original prop. The top part that like made it hover, that you could like pick up the Medusan case and like hover it around with, I guess. That was the actual screen used prop from the 60s, from the episode. Taylor, what's the name of the Medusan episode? Is There in Truth No Beauty?
Yeah, I always mess it up, but yeah,
but
that's it.
It was cool because Taylor, that's one of your favorite episodes of the original series. So it was cool to see a prop from it, in our pictures from Ticonderoga. It was really fun.
Hearing what you guys have to say about it, I can understand maybe, or I would love to know. I just imagine that when the original the actors from the original series come to the set, because I think many of them have been there. I know Shatner does a regular thing, right?
He's but it must be there later this month. As a matter
cool.
Of fact.
It must be something really cool for them, because if it's such a good recreation of the original sets, it must feel different for them to walk back onto these sets.
Yeah.
And they must get like flooded
nostalgia.
with memories of their own. Yeah, nostalgia.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
I was thinking about that too. Like, it must be like a very unique experience because there's only a few people still around who worked on those shows. So there's only a few people who can like return to those old memories. But and Shatner also grew up in that area on the other side of the border in Quebec. But it's kind of like his native country.
You kind of were doing a Shatner tour.
That is true. Yeah, because we also
you also went to Quebec after. Yeah, it's true. McGill University, all that stuff. That's neat. Arthur says it's laid out exactly as it was on the Paramount lot in the 60s. So that's an interesting thing too.
So this is something I actually learned there. But James Calley, who we mentioned, he worked for Bill Tice the costume designer on Star Trek: The
Very cool.
Original Series and the
And the
first
motion
season.
picture.
And the
Oh, sorry,
very
not the motion picture, and the first season of TNG. Right.
and then he ended up like he got sick with AIDS and uh tragic ending in 1980s AIDS pandemic, but James Calley worked for him on TNG, and Bill Tice left him a copy of the floor plans that he had from TOS from Desilu when they built the TOS sets.
Oh, that's
So
so
that's
wild.
how James Calley was able to recreate it so accurately.
Does James Kelly have like Tice some of the costumes from TOS too, like the
Yeah.
Tice costumes? Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't know if that's how he ended up with them, but yeah, some of the
Yeah,
stuff
I
in his
imagine.
collection for sure.
Or he
Um,
wanted to acquire them. Of course, if you work with him, that's very cool. I love his costume designs. Like I think we've talked about this before together as well. Like some of the costume designs are so iconic, but even the TNG ones, like that material and like he kind of like did evolve his like idea. I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, well I'm glad they got they changed to later look more modern or whatever. But I love or not modern, but like different. But I love that
yeah, I know the
his
actors
vision.
the actors hated those season 1 TNG uniforms
That's
because I
right.
guess
That's right.
they're so tight. Gene
I
Roddenberry wanted no wrinkles, so they compress your back all day. They're just like squeezing you.
I love the
Um,
way they look, but yeah, that's got to be uncomfortable. What's this room? This is where the cloaking device was, right?
this is auxiliary control, so you only
Right,
see it
but
a couple
in the cloaking
times.
device episode, isn't that where? No, what am I thinking of? I don't
I
remember.
think they actually redress it for the Romulan ship
Chip.
in the
That's
Enterprise
why.
incident.
So the view
Um,
screens, the view. Oh, look at all the. Jurg is doing all the like. Just finished doing his whole series on the screens, like all the
mhm.
displays and TOS. So that's cool that they have those as well, and that they're all illuminated and they have stuff on there. That's really neat.
Yeah, the bridge set was definitely the highlight for me. It's probably the highlight for most anyone who goes there. But also, the engineering looked so cool. Sick bay looked so cool.
I don't know what it was, but the conference room, the briefing room, got me like emotional. I don't even
Awesome.
know why. I was like, I don't even know like of a specific scene that I could think of where I remember that they're sitting in here, like why would
Well, I feel
that
like
move me so much? But it was so pretty, and like the table was so cool. And I was just like imagining them all sitting there, and I was like, wow, this just
well,
feels
look at
like we're
that.
part of it.
Oh,
I think
one.
the risk is our business speech happens there, and so do
Yeah.
like a bunch of like the one where when Kirk is talking about like the Enterprise, how he loves his only love is the Enterprise and stuff. There's a lot of
Mm.
cool and Spock is like depressed in there a couple times. I would probably get emotional, very emotional stepping onto these sets. It's pretty amazing. Did Miss Taylor said she was touched by it. Father, did you get a little tear in your eye, or did
Yeah,
you? Yeah, that's
the big
cool.
moment was when I saw the bridge finally,
That's
and I
awesome.
thought by then because I was like the last part they show you, and I thought by then like I already had like all of that out of my system, but
When
the
you
one
step
thing
onto the bridge, like, do they reveal it like opening
the turbo lift
the
doors,
turbo
yeah,
lift doors? So that's
so
how you see it. Oh wow, I get goosebumps.
and, and they have all the bridge sound effects, and they have it lit really cool and. Uh, but the one thing that everyone has always told me when you go to the set, the bridge is so much bigger than you think it would be. And I guess I had heard that enough that when I actually walked onto it, I thought, huh, it's a little bit smaller than I thought it was going to be.
And that's funny because I thought it was
That's funny.
bigger because
That's
I
funny.
wasn't listening to any of that. I was like, whatever, I'll just have my own opinion. But it was
But
way
It,
bigger than I thought it was going to be. And
it
especially
looks like
engineering.
you
Engineering
thought it
is
was
huge. I was like,
huge. Oh
whoa.
wow.
oh, see, and I thought engineering was smaller than I thought it was going to be also.
That's
But
funny.
it is like a big set. That is true.
What was so it looks like y'all are the only two people on the tour. That's not the case though? It's just that you're isolated, you get to be isolated for the photos, or
we had an interesting little experience. Our time slot ended up getting like too full because we had purchased like someone to like follow around and take our pictures, and they told us like, oh, we can't do that, there's too many people in this group, so you'll have to go through and then we'll take you through a second time and we'll take your pictures after.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it was really nice. It was
we had
really
purchased 2 tours. We were doing the guided tour and also the photo tour.
Photo tour.
So
these are okay. So you can't have your own camera there. You have to.
No, you
like,
can
you take? Oh, okay.
It was more of like so that we could get pictures together.
No,
and
of course,
annoy them to take as many as we wanted.
These are fabulous. Look at you guys in the chair. So they do let you sit in the chair, which is great.
They let you sit in the captain's chair. They let me take a picture looking into Spock's scanner display.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that was.
This is a great picture. Look at your new. Go back to that picture. That's got it. No, the one of from the front angle showing your. You got to have that. You got to put that picture as your banner on Twitter or something, like, or all your social medias. It's fabulous.
I have I have another picture in the chair, but I'm using that as my
I saw that one
picture going forward.
Hey, look that. There's one of Taylor too. That's so cool. But yeah, I'm so excited to do this one day. It's so cool.
It looks so like the fucking show. It's like I see this picture of Taylor sitting in the captain's chair that the podcast listening audience can't see, but if you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, that's like kind of how they framed Kirk. And look, there's Sulu and Chekhov's stations in front of her, and it's just
also what's cool about these sets is they're all closed. Like instead of it being like an actual set where they'd have like one wall for like all the cameras and stuff, like everything is enclosed to how it would look. And so
it's immersive.
It's very immersive. It's a whole room. Like and like every door that you enter into is like one of the sliding doors. So it's like very realistic.
That's the one you've used. I've seen that one.
So
and what's on the view screen? Is it video or is it just static?
No, it changes.
They had stars, so it looked like the Enterprise was cruising through space on impulse.
And it's like they even got the little blue border. It's so cool. Everything's so accurate looking. It's amazing. Very cool.
Yeah.
Were any of the? Oh, go ahead.
The only thing they really cheat that's very different from what would have been on the actual set is for some of the monitors above the bridge stations. Those are all TV screens being fed some image. They don't have like the original series. Everything would have been like static. It would have been like lit up paper with like a light behind it to give it some glow and stuff like that. So that was one of the things they kind of cheat, but it looks really good.
Joel in the audience wants to know, how do the doors work there? Like, are they automatic, or do people pull them like as you're going through? And do they make the sound? I'm curious about that. Like when you go through.
Someone actually pulled a little rope, like they would have had
just
on
like
the set. So
that's so cool.
And they can add the sound effects, but yeah, there's
but you hear like in the behind the scenes, you always hear the like that sound, the natural sound of the doors opening or whatever. It's so cool. That's so neat. Look at this picture, y'all. That's so great. That's so cool. Do they? They should have like, I don't know if they do have it, but like the little pad that they write on.
That would be fun.
Pretend to be making a log.
Yeah, they have a bunch of those like throughout, like on people's desks and stuff. But that would be fun to have as a prop to hold, like while you're in the chair or something. Or if they have like a tricorder or something that you could like be holding, or a phaser rifle or whatever like that. It would be really fun to add.
You mentioned phaser rifle, and that made me remember in the lobby they had the
phaser
Type
rifle
3 phaser rifle. Yeah, it looked so cool. Like they had that.
It's in the background. Yeah, it's in the background of the lobby. Like they have like a whole bunch of like recreated little things. Like what are those little bird ones? The cat paw, like the cat's paw.
The cat's
episode?
paw aliens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those little guys. They have the little pipe cleaner looking creatures, right? That's cool.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I have another question about your Kirk is a jerk shirt. Did anyone comment about it or make any did anyone say anything
Everyone
about
loves
it?
that shirt. Everyone
That's
loves
cool.
that. Everyone
That's awesome.
a lot of people haven't seen the animated series and they still crack up. They're like, "Oh, I haven't seen the animated series, but I know that reference."
That's awesome.
So
I saw a picture of the conference room. Was that the conference room? The last picture you just popped up there?
yeah, and they had some props in there, but I wanted to show you Sylvia and Korob. Is it Korob or Korb? Korob, yeah.
Karab, yeah.
Right here. But there's the image of them as well as the phaser
That's
rifle
cool.
and a Gorn head. So
are those that they can't? Are those recreations of Sylvia and Korob, or were they the or okay? Yeah, because I was gonna say
I'm
those
pretty
probably
sure
are lost.
those didn't survive the
They burned them
50
immediately.
years.
They're like, well,
No one wants to look at this anymore.
The art department was like, man, we had like 5 minutes to throw this together, y'all. Like, I stop mentioning this.
But Taylor, what was some of the stuff in the rec room, I'm sorry, in the conference room?
The briefing room. They had 3D chess and checkers. They had Spock's loot, and maybe a couple more things on the desk, but kind of like
they
games.
had like some of those some real life Earth games that showed up in the show in the background and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got some really good pictures in that room. Like it was
Oh,
fun
look
to
at
hang
that.
out in there. So
what is that flag?
That's the Federation flag that looks like a Cuban flag. It's kind of like the in joke for what's his name? Lucille Ball's ex-husband.
Ricardo?
Desi Arnaz.
Desi Arnaz, yeah.
Ricardo's his name in I Love Lucy, right?
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
No worries.
He's the reason why the Federation flag and the Children Shall Lead looks kind of like the Cuban flag. I heard it was like an
interesting. That's
joke.
Interesting. I did not know that.
And
I really love the arches in the briefing room so much because they really just like go kind of like over, up, and down like a buttress, but it looks so spaceshipy. Like when you're in that room, like it has like that nice curve to it, and I love the way that room is lit so much. It's very dramatic and colorful.
It's like my room today.
Yeah,
TOS lighting. I just realized.
Yeah, it looks great.
Awesome. What else? What other stuff? Do you have? We haven't seen engineering pictures yet.
Oh, I have some engineering pictures, but Taylor, what did you think of other than it being huge? What do you think of engineering when you saw it?
I mean, I think it looks really good. I love the warp core, the way that they did the foreshortening to make it look longer. Like it's very accurate to TOS.
Yeah, what do you call that? A forced
foreshortening? Oh, force perspective. Yeah, you can do either of those. But yeah, force perspective. Yeah, I think that was really cool. They kind of told us a little bit of how they made their sets, and then also how TOS had like used like there's like these gold balls in the middle that were just spray painted like kickballs or something, and they were like, well, that didn't work very well here. And one of our tour guides was also saying that when Jonathan Frakes was there, he almost picked one up because he wanted to like kick it, like he thought it was a kickball or something. I was like, man, y'all are dealing with too much, like having to put these actors like don't touch.
Oh, Taylor, I just realized that in this picture you can see our Polaroid right here.
Oh yeah, there you go. It is so there.
Is that the dilithium chamber in the center there?
That's the matter antimatter intermix
and the dilithium crystal chamber.
Which
that's so cool.
The little orbs on it, they reused the Horta eggs.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's so cool. That's where that's so funny. That's Enemy Within, right? Like
and Finney in Court Martial. Right. Remember Finney was hanging out in that little corner in engineering when he was fighting Kirk, so I got to go hide in there.
That's great.
The lighting in this room was so good too. It was so moody. And like one side is very like red and purple, and then the other side is very like green and blue. And it's such a natural like transition, like kind of in the middle where the warp core and I guess the dilithium chamber is at. But like it is such a natural transition of like the whole color change from one side to the other. But it's just so, I think it's so well lit. Like I was really impressed by that at the sets.
And it is lit with, it's a little bit more dynamic than what actually would have been on the show. I think it's like, more colorful, more shadows. It's a bit more dynamic. But I mean, like they can make it look screen accurate. When they shot all those fan films. Was it Star Trek Continues?
Well, not only that, like I feel like watching the original series, there is a night mode. Like there's a darker version of the sets that they do sometimes where I call it night mode, like night shift or whatever, where even on the show, these sets do look kind of more like this, at times. But then there's like there's like different lighting schemes that you see on the actual show too. But yeah, this is a little more dramatic for sure, but I love it.
And like
man, it makes me want to become like obscenely wealthy and build like a house that's just Star Trek, like these Star Trek sets.
That's what
like,
I have this problem.
Taylor went to this TOS set tours and she was like, "Could we do this with Deep Space Nine?"
I was like, "Hey, I have an idea. We need a warehouse."
You're speaking Fatheree's language there because he loves the promenade.
I know.
It's his dream to walk onto the promenade one day. It's so cool.
That would be really cool if someone did do a set recreation for Deep Space Nine. If someone has like
that would be pretty
DS9
cool. I agree.
Set plans.
Yeah. In the live audience comments, they're talking about the warp core depth. And I believe the foreshortening on that, going back to that, I believe our tour guide said that physically it was 12 feet deep, but it was supposed to look like 30 feet deep.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what the general consensus was. And, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Jill is also talking about, she's asking in engineering, where is the white thing Kirk clobbers Khan with? And they do talk about that and how that only appeared in like that one episode when Kirk needed a weapon.
Well, look at that. Where's where Riley sings Kathleen? I'll take
that
you
would
home,
that would have been sitting next to that console.
That thing, yeah, that's cool.
that
with the milk, right? Then they get served the milk, or someone got served milk there too, and then and those.
Yeah.
Oh, did they have the
Kodos,
cubes? The food.
Daughter.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That's
right.
They talked about how like the food on the original series, it wasn't Play-Doh, it was cubed fruit.
Yeah, I knew that. That was,
it sure does look like Play-Doh.
It does. But that's so cool. Art says supposedly he's working on the TNG sets to go in the building next door. That he should. I hope he's consulting with Liz, who worked on the one for Picard, because that would be amazing to get an accurate TNG set.
So the issue with that is it sounds like they're actually not going to be able to use the building next door, so they don't know exactly where they're going to build all the TNG stuff. But they do have the two consoles. They have like Data and Wesley's consoles from the front of the bridge on display in the lobby. So
cool. Look at that.
Yeah, the corridors really look like you're.
Is it carpet or is it floor?
It's carpet. There's just
neat.
like how there was in the 60s. There's carpet.
I didn't remember
all
if
down
it was
the
carpet,
hallway.
Yeah, that's so cool. Oh, look at hey, you're here in the briefing room. That's where we are. Mm-hmm. We're having the. Oh, that's such a sweet picture. Look at that. Very cool. Here's a picture showing like the actual tour. That's interesting. Like, I mean, not the actual tour, but more people on the tour.
Yeah. So, we actually have a lot of pictures in engineering because we were stuck in there waiting for them to finish the tour group ahead of us that were on the bridge.
Gotcha. I'm so excited to one day go to this. It's so cool.
Yeah.
The circular rail seems like the hardest thing to create on TNG bridge. Yeah.
Another area they had at the tour was Kirk's room,
Yes.
which was pretty cool. They had like his desk area and then like his attached bedroom. And they had the
Wow,
Jeffries
that's so
cube.
cool.
Yeah.
You can't climb up it. Oh wait, oh, look at that. That's the mirrors. And there's the desk. That's so cool. You can sit at it. Oh, and the little Aztec statue back there. Oh my god, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
Do you
And there was even like a prop from the show that he had purchased. It was like a little golden like treasure box looking thing.
Right. The
Oh,
little
wow.
box. Because William Shatner gave it to the president of the William Shatner fan club back when TOS was still in production. And then it ended up eventually in James Cowley's collection and in his recreation
Long
of
journey
Kirk's quarters.
to come
Yeah.
back home.
Oh, yeah, and
Look
we
at that
haven't
thing.
talked. Oh, sorry.
I was just saying the bed. Like, are you allowed to like touch it and feel like the cloth and everything?
No,
Like...
I
You were
wish.
not.
They
There's
had this
the phaser.
fabric.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they had the fabric custom made for this. Like they had a sample of the fabric given to them, but like not obviously enough to like make all the beds. And they're in the or in the sick bay. But yeah, they got all even like down to the fabric custom made for the set.
What
You should
episode is that from where the phasers in the red alert thing? I can't remember.
Oh, is that not also the Kodos the Executioner episode?
Oh,
that you
yeah,
just
yeah.
mentioned?
And I interrupted you, Taylor. Sorry. What were you gonna say?
Oh, you're good. I was gonna say we should bring up the sick bay next.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the phaser was a really fun touch. And it was actually interesting getting to do the tour twice because the first time we had a lot more people. And so like we were waiting a little bit more and we didn't get to see as many of the details. And so we went through the second time. The guy had more time with us. And so he was like, oh, did you see that this thing opens? And he would open it up and there'd be a surprise thing. Or he'd be like, oh, and this thing has the phaser light in it if you turn it on. And like we missed that the first time around because like there were so many people with us that we didn't really have as much time in each space. And it was cool to like go a second time and see even more. I mean, I feel like you could do this multiple times and see something different every single time you go through.
The photo package is so worth it. I feel like to be able to do this, like, and have like,
especially if you want to dress up. If you want to dress up, you can get some great pictures. Like I'm so happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's so
many
amazing.
Of the pictures we got.
Yeah.
Were the little leg things there on the wall that like Kirk does the leg exercise?
No, he didn't have the carbonite
the like treadmill, the like wall tread.
Wall tread. I kind of want that because like I'm so lazy about exercise that if I could lay in my bed and just do that, it would be great.
Yeah,
like they had the decompression chamber.
The chamber. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Do they have the glasses? Like the the red the Medusan visor anywhere on the set?
They might have had that in their lobby collection.
Oh, cool.
I think that.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing it as a prop, but like in the set.
They do have it though. It was in the lobby. It was on one of the mannequins.
That's so cool. Oh, there it is. I see it. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
But I guess that was all of the set tour. You know what, Taylor? I actually like the bridge and engineering were in sickbay. Those are all big standouts to me. But also, like you were saying, the corridor, just walking down the corridor.
Yeah.
The corridor is there. Yeah, there is something kind of magic about the corridor. I forgot about it until you mentioned it.
I think that's because it's such a simple space and it's a transitional space. And so even for that to be at the level of detail that it is, it's really, like I was saying, immersive. And like it doesn't take you out of the set because when you're going like place to place, like you're still in the world, you're still on the ship.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and I think it's also fun because we get so many episodes of people like running down the hallway, and like, oh, we're in a panic or whatever, like, and people just like working randomly on like the little tube things on the wall or whatever as extras, and so it's cool to be able to like walk the same halls.
Jill is asking about the Tantalus field.
They did have a pop-out Tantalus field in the. In Kirk's quarters, you actually did have a secret compartment that could open up and reveal the Tantalus filled controls. So
fabulous.
That was something we didn't see the first time we went through the tour. We only saw that when we did it the second time for our pictures. So,
Oh, right on, right
perfect
on.
example of what Taylor was talking about.
Now, it took you 4 hours to get there. How long is the whole experience for you with the 2 tours and everything?
I mean, it would take less than an hour to go through it.
Oh, okay. For
We
both
hung out there
to
for
go
a
through it
while.
twice, you mean, like, and everything? That's cool.
Oh no, we were there for almost 3 hours for
Oh,
both
okay.
tours. We
Oh, got
did
it.
like about, I would say that each tour is about an hour long. I think that's how much they
That's-
give like slot
Yeah.
That's
for it.
satisfying, though. That's
Mhm.
good. Like, spend an hour there. I mean, like, you really get to absorb it. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I loved how much time we got to spend there. So I was very happy.
Yeah. And it was fun even like hanging out in the lobby and like their little gift shop too. And you know, they have a lot of, as you saw in some of the pictures, I'm sure the collector's items and like the costumes and stuff. Like you could just stand there and play like I Spy for years.
Oh,
Like
got it.
it's really a lot of stuff in there to look at.
That's cool. So then from there, how far is it to go to Montreal?
It's only 3 hours to.
Oh, so you went another
No.
3 hours to Montreal.
Well, we only had to go 2 hours because
okay.
Our friend in Montreal was willing to meet us on this side of the city. So it was only a 2-hour drive, but we did, after we finished at the set tours, we went across the border into Quebec to meet Sean,
To meet
also
Sean
known
from
as Trek on the
Trek
Tube.
on the Tube, or Toddy, as some folks call him. Now, where did you all stay? Did you fly back after that, as Jill's asking in the audience, or did you guys just like drive all the way back down to New York City?
No, we flew back to Ticonderoga that night and then flew out
we
of
drove.
Albany. We drove back to Ticonderoga that night and then flew out of Albany the next day.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which is a much easier airport.
Really? Okay.
Than JFK.
So you can fly,
oh yeah.
How far is Albany from Ticonderoga?
About an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Oh, that's the airport to fly, just to do the Ticonderoga thing. Oh, okay.
I'm gonna butcher
great.
this
I don't
name,
have to fly.
but you would want to fly into Albany, or you would want to fly into Montpellier in Vermont. Montpellier, whatever.
It's French. I think it's
Vermont. Say Vermont.
Okay,
Vermont. Sorry.
Okay.
This is why I say Les Mis and not Les Miserables. Like, I don't want to sound like a dick, but I'm going to. That's how I feel about the capital of Vermont.
Montpellier. Montpellier.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm trying, guys.
I'm just happy that I finally learned how to say René Aubergenois, and now I say it like literally every day.
Aubergenois. So okay. That's great information to know, because I always thought, I have to fly into the city, drive 3 hours, but no, I can just fly into Albany, and then you could stay in Ticonderoga. There's like, is that
There's
where
like
you all
3
stayed?
hotels. It's very
cool.
small. We liked our hotel in Ticonderoga. Actually, it was a Super 8, so like a motel, but it was like really clean.
It was like
it was very adequate. It was like an extremely adequate hotel, which made it seem much superior.
For those of us who are a little bit more bougie, are there like bougier hotels there, like a Hilton?
No. You're not staying at anything better than a Super 8.
No.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's all motels, and there's a couple of really cute like inns and like bed and breakfast.
Bed and breakfast. That's probably what I'd try to do.
Yeah.
Is the bed and breakfast.
They don't have as many rooms, and so you had to book more early. And so I think the reason we were just kind of like trying to keep it within a certain budget too. And then and the Super 8 was like probably one of the, I think, 3 cheaper options, but
it sounds like it's like nice and clean and all that stuff. So it's so cool. That's awesome.
But it was a lot of fun to see Sean again. It was the first time me and him had been in the same room in person since
Mission Chicago.
3 years ago. Or 2 years ago? 3 years ago? I guess it was 3 years ago.
Has it been 4 years? I feel like, no?
It's been a while.
Maybe. It's been a while. Was it 2020?
2022.
2022. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Okay.
Or was it 23?
I have to. Hold on. I'll be right back while you wax a little while I go get my badge. Hold on.
I think it was 22. Yeah, pretty sure it was 22 because Picard season 2 was still coming out. So, or wait, yeah, because then Picard season 3 was in 23, and then last year there wasn't any Picard. Okay, yeah, so 2022. But that wasn't the only like meeting Sean. That wasn't the only like non-Star Trek event that we attended. There was the other what would you call it? The other like location that we wanted to visit. The other site to see, I guess. But Taylor had a personal one.
Oh.
In Long Island, though, we actually saw the house that her grandfather
grew up in.
Oh, how cool!
Yeah.
That's really neat. It's still there. That's it.
Yep.
Oh, wow!
It looks just like that in the pictures that I've seen from my grandpa. Like a few years before he passed, we found all of his little film slides, and we had an old projector. And for Christmas, we like put all of his slides in one at a time, and we probably looked at like thousands of pictures from this area and this house specifically. And
That's
so it was really
cute house.
Really fun. Yeah, it is so cute, and it's a really adorable neighborhood. Everything is blooming right now because it's kind of like early spring or a late spring.
Yeah.
So there's tons of flowers and stuff, and it was so green and lush.
Is it a corner lot?
Yeah, it is a corner lot. I didn't realize that from the
cool.
pictures, and like we turned the corner, I was like, "Oh shit, this is adorable!" And probably like $500,000 million now.
Yeah, it's probably true. Were you all brave enough to go knock on the door?
No.
Okay.
It's actually fun too because the last time I was in New York City, my mom actually drove out and saw this in Port Washington, my mom's dad, where he grew up. And so when I was telling her, "Oh, I'm on Long Island," she's like, "Oh, you're going to be only 30 minutes away. You should just do it."
Do it. That's awesome.
She had already seen it, so it was fun to get to go though.
It's nice to see that it's well loved and preserved and in good shape.
Yeah,
it's so
that's
cool.
what I was saying.
Nice.
Yeah, it is nice to know.
That's awesome.
But if you are looking at this live, my grandpa's bedroom was that middle window at the top, the second window on the roof, I guess, from the right. Not the one close to the chimney, but the one in the middle. That's where he grew up, in that little room right there.
Aww.
So, yeah,
that's
it was
very
fun.
Sweet.
It was fun.
What's Montreal like? Or you didn't go all the way to Montreal, did you guys?
No, we literally only saw the inside of a pizza shop.
Yeah,
that was what that picture was. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
As soon as you go across the border into Quebec, like you're in a different country. Like it's just like
you do.
It immediately starts looking different.
Well, it's all in French too.
That's a
they're
big
always
indicator. Like, all the street signs are in French.
Yeah, Sean kept being like, "Oh, everything that's in French will also be in English," and then like when I was like,
Canadians
we're driving and it's all in French, and I'm like, I don't know what way to go.
The French Canadians will gaslight the English speakers. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, like everything's gonna be in English too. Like it's fine. You don't need to know French to visit Quebec." And then you get there and like every fucking sign is in French only. But
that's hilarious.
Even like when we checked out from dinner, like everything was in French on the bill, and I was like, I don't know what to do here.
Taylor, you know how you want me to stop using an Android phone and switch to iPhone so that everything can be like compatible with you? I was like, that's how like the entire country of Canada has been like to Quebec. Like, can y'all please just stop speaking French and speak English?
That's
like
hilarious.
And they're like, it's not even that big of a deal. It's not even that big of a deal that we speak French. So
yeah, it was nice though. It was really fun. And like, I'm not going to lie, like French is one of the scariest languages for me. Like that one is just brutal. And I can understand a lot of Italian and Spanish, and like it's so similar, but then French is like so different. And it's also based off of like a Romance language, but man, you're like reading it and it's still just like, what the hell is this? Like it's impressive to me that people can be fluent in French.
When I was in France, the funniest thing was one thing I found out is if you learn this one phrase, most French people who already know how to speak English because like they all know how to speak English, but they pretend not to if you're rude, like and you're like anglais or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you say it like this, if you go bonjour, pardon, est-ce qu'il y a une personne qui parle anglais? If you learn that, that's it. Like they're like, wow, your French is good, and I'm like,
that was great.
Yeah, so I'm actually just saying, is there a person here who speaks, or do you speak English, right? So like that's
Yeah.
how it's a more polite way. And the other thing I thought, which was funny, is because I went to France when I was in France. A friend of mine who I met there was from Quebec, and so they speak a different version of French. And the French in France think it's like super cute because it sounds like kids, like how kids speak
Oh.
French.
Uh-huh.
And so they're all like, "Oh, it's so cute!" And like he was so annoyed. He's like, "No, this is real French." And they're like, "No," it's like, "No." They're
Yeah,
like, "No, no, no.
it's a
It's
very
okay."
archaic version
Well,
of
it's
the
yeah, it's like
language.
it's frozen like 500
Yeah,
years ago or whatever.
yeah,
It's like a
yeah. It's
very
like an
interesting, like,
offshoot
yeah,
of.
shoot,
It's
yeah,
like
it's
how the
cool.
Romulans are like an offshoot of the Vulcans. It's like Quebec French is like an offshoot of French
Yeah.
French. But
So
now
yeah,
that we've insulted like all I don't know, 3
our
French
French audience.
Canadians in our
Sorry.
audience, but
But that's so
but
cool. This is a very good debriefing. Is there anything we're missing, audience? Did you have any questions to talk about? Let us know. Is there anything we're missing from this?
I got
I think
everything I wanted to say. Taylor, is there
What
anything
about you,
else that
Miss
you
Taylor?
wanted to mention?
I think we pretty much covered it. You talked about the Ghostbusters stuff, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously the inside is not like made to, they haven't taken full advantage of the tourist possibilities with the inside of that building, have they? Like you don't
Yeah,
have like a
he was like, I want to go in and see what it looks like. And if it doesn't look like how I want it to look, we're leaving. And we literally walked in.
Oh,
He goes, nope. And we walked out.
oh, the library. Yeah, the library
right.
it didn't look how I wanted it to look. But you
And
can
That's
the,
funny.
the
you,
firehouse was cool though, because it's like a functioning firehouse. And so the firemen were like sitting
Oh,
there,
okay.
like with their
yeah.
truck, like having lunch or whatever. And like, that was really cute. I really
Like
enjoyed
That's fun.
that stuff.
there were other tourists. There were other tourists like taking pictures in front of the building, and yeah, if you looked in the door, there's a firefighter sitting on a fire truck, like on duty,
That's
just like
rad.
chilling in there eating a sandwich. So it is a
Joel wants
that's
to know.
probably the reason why it's still been there all these years is that it is a functional New York City fire
Yeah.
department
Yeah, otherwise
firehouse.
someone would have bought it and turned it into a loft or something
Yeah.
Yeah,
weird.
yeah.
Joel wants to know, did you ask your panel about the jihad?
We did not ask them about the jihad. About that, I didn't get to bring that one up, Joel, because our panel was cut a little short from the
Oh, the
fire
fire.
alarm
That's right.
evacuation. So
That's
unfortunately, that was one of the unpopular opinions that didn't make the cut. But I'm curious how it would have gone over in the room. It was actually like the room had several people in there who seemed very familiar with the animated series. So I think there would have been some other fans of that episode, the jihad.
very cool.
But I think that does it for everything we were gonna cover. So thank you so much, Sohail, for
It
the
was a
debrief.
pleasure. Thanks for having me on. It's nice to spend Friday night talking about your adventures through New York. It was very cool. Thanks for having me.
Well, hopefully we'll have you back on the show again soon. I know there's going to be a lot of Star Trek talk in the coming months with the return of Strange New Worlds happening this summer.
Yep. I'd like to come back to another backtracking in the future. That was so much fun to do. The iBorg episode
Iborg,
with
yeah.
y'all. So yeah, so I'd love to do it. I'll pick another one and we'll do it hopefully sometime.
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, next week when we start our Trek to Strange New Worlds season 3, I don't want to call this the Road to Strange New Worlds season 3 because
He
How about
started to
the
type that and I sung it and he didn't and he immediately went backspace, backspace, backspace. Delete, delete, delete. I was like, darn it.
But we will have our first backtracking retrospective on the Trek to Strange New Worlds season 3 next week with Rachel. We are going to be talking about the TOS episode, What Are Little Girls Made Of? So before we see Roger Corby in season 3 of Strange New Worlds, before we learn how he and Chapel get engaged, we will see the episode that introduced Chapel's doomed fiance, Roger Corby, and also Kirk's famous Dick Rock, the episode What Are Little Girls Made Of? A lot of caves. Is it the OG cave episode?
I think it's like the ultimate cave episode, if
Yeah.
not the OG cave episode.
So,
but yeah,
that'll be fun. Rachel will be on the show next week with Taylor and I to talk about that, and then in
fabulous.
A few short weeks we'll have Strange New World season 3 to talk about. So
Yeah,
looking forward to that. And until next time, as always, live long and prosper, y'all.
Subscribe to YouTube to watch the Tex-Trek podcast live or listen to us later on your favorite podcast platform. Follow Stephen Fatheree on socials at TX Trek. Thank you and take care.